Good morning, Knicks Nation. Today is Thursday, the 22nd day of February 2024. I hope you're all safe and healthy today, and that your family is safe and healthy, and that the needs of you and your family in terms of food, shelter, clothing, as well as health are being met today. Blessings upon those that work in the healthcare field, along with the first responders who every day are saving lives. Those also that make deliveries for our convenience, and those that pick up garbage, keep our places clean. Double blessings on the men and women out here trying to help rescue, deliver, and recover the children and teenagers like Audrey Cunningham, who was snatched and murdered this week by a man named McDougal. Blessings upon those that look and try to help and prevent such situations. Blessings also, double blessings on the men and women out here trying to also help people who are victims of pornography and child pornography, prostitution, child prostitution, human trafficking, and sex slavery. Double curses on people like McDougal, on perverts, perpetrators, and profiteers of these heinous industries. Finally, double blessings on the homeless. Nearly 600,000 men, women, and children homeless in the United States of America today, and millions around the world in similar or worse conditions. Blessings upon them, for theirs is the kingdom. There's a basketball game scheduled tonight in Philadelphia. The New York Knicks will take on the Philadelphia 76ers, and what's going to be a very interesting game for a number of reasons. As we all know, New York Knicks have suffered a rash of injuries. Now, we have three of our starters should be available tonight: Hartenstein, Dante DiVincenzo, and Jalen Brunson, to be added to Precious Achiuwa and Josh Hart. The bench should be four deep. It's going to be interesting to see how Tom Thibodeau mixes those minutes, because they've been all over the place. Between the injuries and the trade with Grimes, they've been all over the place. So now you got Burks available, you got Bogdanovich available, Deuce is available, and then you got Jericho Sims, who's been filling in admirably. So we're going to see what happens. The last game that they played at Orlando really was not an indication of what's going to happen going forward, because they really only had six guys from their regular roster, and then they added Jacob Toppin for 17 minutes, which Tom would never do. It's just because that's how short-staffed they were last week. So we don't know what's going to happen going forward, but we're going to find out tonight as all of these guys are back. Now, for Philadelphia, there's no DeAnthony Melton. There's no Joel Embiid. Right now, they don't have either of those guys. And so we're going to see what Philadelphia is going to do. Their last game was against Miami before the break. And what they did was they played seven deep. The coach really didn't put a lot of trust in Mo Bamba. He played Paul Reed a lot. They played KJ Martin. They played Kelly Oubre. They played Buddy Hield. They started Buddy Hield for DeAnthony Melton. And now they have a Kyle Lowry. So I expect Maxey, Hield, Tobias Harris, KJ Martin, Paul Reed, and they will have Kyle Lowry as far as Kelly Oubre coming off the bench. They're going to play some Mo Bamba, but the coach again hasn't shown, and Cameron Payne, they got him as well. The coach hasn't shown a lot of trust in Mo Bamba. You can see when they're short, as they are at the center position, when he only plays him 9 minutes, there's an issue there with the coach trusting Mo Bamba. So I don't know what to expect tonight. But it's going to be interesting. It's going to be a dogfight as usual, because right now the Knicks in the standings are a half game up on Philadelphia. So if they can beat Philly tonight, they'll extend that to a game and a half. Right now, the Milwaukee Bucks tomorrow have to play at Minnesota. Minnesota is the number one defensive team in the NBA. As a matter of fact, as far as opponents' points per game allowed, it's Minnesota number one. It's Cleveland number two, and it's the Knicks number three. As far as point differential right now, the Knicks it's basically Boston, and then you have Minnesota, Oklahoma City, the Clippers. You have Cleveland, and then the Knicks. So the Knicks are about sixth in the NBA in differential. Now, most of that was prior to this latest rash of injuries that included Hartenstein. And then even Jalen Brunson for a game, and then Dante DiVincenzo. But now all of those guys are back. So now it takes time for any team to inculcate new players into a lineup, which in this case is Burks and Bogdanovich. And this is what I mean. It's going to be interesting to see how Tom distributes these minutes. I suspect you're going to see Deuce get whatever minutes Jalen sits, which I don't expect to be much coming off the All-Star break. I think Jalen is hyped to get going and determined to get some wins. Very angry from that Houston loss and that Orlando loss. So he's probably going to play, good 35, 38 minutes, which means Deuce is going to get somewhere between 10 and 12 minutes. But then you're going to get Bogdanovich and Burks playing a lot of 2 and 3 and 1 with Burks in Burks' case. So we'll see how this works out. Hartenstein and Sims. Hartenstein will probably be the counter on to play at least 35 minutes, 30 minutes tonight. Sims gets the balance of that. And that's how that's going to go. The Knicks should be in a good position to win this game, even Philadelphia with no Joel Embiid. And if they can, as I said, they'll be a game and a half up on Philly, and they'll be in the 4th seed. And they'll be only, at that point, they'll be only a half a game behind. Let me just make sure I'm telling you the truth there. They'll be only a half a game behind Milwaukee at that point. So right now, they're a game and a half behind Milwaukee. A Knicks win tonight will make them a game behind Milwaukee. And then if Milwaukee loses tomorrow to Minnesota, which is a distinct possibility, then the Knicks would be half a game behind Milwaukee in the 3rd seed. This is without them at full strength. Now, with regard to Julius Randle, it appears to me that Julius wants to come back and play and avoid surgery. That's what he's trying to do. He's getting stronger every day. I don't think the Knicks would put that information out there except for 2 reasons. Number one, they want us to know they're expecting him to play without surgery. Number 2, they want us to understand that if he can't come back, he's going to need surgery, but it looks like he's going to come back. That's the overall gist I got. People like to cling to certain things. Like some people just cling to the negative because that's what they do, like magnets to negativity. But overall, it looks like he wants to come back, and he will come back. And again, I'm keeping my timeline. I think he'll be back before the 29th of February. I think he'll be back playing. Then you have OG Anunoby, who has not started any work on his elbow in terms of shooting or anything at this point. But I expect that to also change starting the end of this week, because now we're back from the All-Star break. I think he'll be back. He also said he intends to be back. It looks like he will be back. The question is, when in March can he come back? Again, I'm targeting March the 8th. Then there's our man Mitch Robb, who again is now getting more active, lifting more, doing some shooting, getting on the court. He hasn't run the jump much yet, but I think, again, that's going to change starting this week. As the Knicks has said, he's going to be now with basketball-related activities after the All-Star break. Well, here we are. Again, I'm looking for him on March the 8th as well. So I'm looking cautiously optimistic. Right now, I want to see how Thibs plays, the guys he's going to have, which your starter is going to be Hartenstein. Then you're going to have Josh Hart at the 3. You're going to have Precious Achiuwa at the 4. You have Dante DiVincenzo and Jalen Brunson. Then you're going to have Jericho Sims. You're going to have Burks and Bogdanovich and Deuce. I want to see how he mixes those minutes, because this particular team, this particular 9-man rotation is going to be the 9-man rotation probably at least for the next 4 or 5 games, again, depending on the progress of Juju and some of these other guys. So this team is going to be the team that has to go out there and win, over this next 5 games. So again, I'm looking for a 3-2 record. I think they could pull that off in the next 5 games. Let's see. Starting again tonight, we'll see what Tom does, because they've had a couple of days now of practice. This is different from before the All-Star break. Where everything is rushed when the season comes, because games come one after another. The thing about an All-Star break, aside from players getting a rest, is they get to go through things in more detail. They get to go through plays. They make adjustments in more detail, practice in more detail. And Tom is very detail-oriented. So we'll see how this turns out. Like I said, starting tonight, how this rotation goes and how Tom mixes up the players. Because he's going to have to do that at least for the next 5 games, maybe as much as 7 or 8 games. But we'll see. 27 games left. The Knicks are right now in the 4th seed in the East. They win this game tonight. They have a more solid position in the 4th seed in the East. Let's see what happens. I'm expecting a better defensive effort with the addition of Hartenstein. And now, of course, you continue now, because Tom Thibodeau's defense is predicated on a rim protector. Okay? Isaiah Hartenstein has shown himself to be that. You got Mitchell Robinson. Okay? So without Hartenstein, which they have been for like 4 of the last 5 games, during this 4-game losing streak, they had Hartenstein for 1 game for 15 minutes. And so that's going to hurt your defense. Now that Hartenstein is rested, the Achilles is feeling good enough for him to play. He's practiced 2 days. I'm expecting an increase in the defensive effort. Dante, Precious, Hart, Deuce, those guys play. Let's see how Bogdanovich and Burke respond on the defensive end. We'll see. Anyway, you all enjoy the game tonight. I know I will. Let's get Knicks win. Sure.